Alrighty then. How we feeling, y'all? How we doing? How we looking? I am solo dolo today. Shout out to you guys. We appreciate you. Let us know who is in the chat with us here. Zach is not with us today. He got a little neck problem. Text me this morning and say, yo, I'm nauseous, not feeling well. I was like, you know what? All good. I'll do this grading some teams here solo dolo. But it is a Monday morning for us. I know you guys had Saturday. So happy Saturday. I hope you guys had a great Saturday over there in the beautiful United States of America. If you guys haven't had dinner yet and you're thinking about getting takeout, maybe you live in New York, get a slice. Maybe you don't live in New York. Maybe there's a Chick-fil-A is not open. Damn. Maybe somehow you have some Chick-fil-A sauce laying around somewhere. Maybe you got some lemonade laying around somewhere. Something. If you live in Florida, maybe go get a Publix sandwich. The next meal that you have, think about me, who I am desperately in need of some good American food. We appreciate you. What's up, Timothy? What's up, Chef? Once again, let us know who's in the chat. We are going to be grading your Dynasty teams today. As always, trying to help you build the best Dynasty teams as possible. Kedar, what's happening? D-Stone, Johnny, not Bravo. How we going? Chase, Breakers, Zach's here, Alejandro's here. How we feeling, y'all? How we feeling? Once again, grading your guys' Dynasty teams. We appreciate each and every one of you. And if you guys want your team graded, all you have to do is go to the Flock Fantasy website, use our promo code LAND, okay? And then all you have to do is, once that's done, submit your roster into the Discord. That's exactly how you can do and get your Dynasty team reviewed here today. We appreciate each and every one of you. What's happening? Jay said draft week finally. Yes, draft week is upon us. And that's a good little segue here. We have a couple people here. Hey, aren't you do the COD content? Yes, I do play Call of Duty sometimes, by the way. But yes, we do have a live stream. We're going to be live reacting to the NFL draft here. And I honestly cannot wait, because those are some of our best live streams that we put on, and just pure comedy at times here. And if you go to our redraft channel, yes, we do have a redraft channel. All you have to do is go to our redraft channel, turn on that notification button, and that's exactly how you can be a part of us on the live stream. I'll show you here. This is our redraft channel. I'll actually put that in the link or in the description. Turn that notification on. It is phenomenal. You see Zach meltdown. You see me laughing at him. So far, I haven't had a terrible pick in the NFL draft since we've been doing this on Fantasyland. Kayvon Thibodeau, Evan Neal. I guess Evan Neal's been terrible, right? Kayvon Thibodeau, Evan Neal. We also drafted Kadarius Toney. We were live for that. I didn't want Kadarius Toney though. But at the time, Kadarius Toney was meant to be decent. So I wasn't mad at Kadarius Toney's pick. But yes, some good stuff here. But you're gonna get our reactions live and early, because both of our teams have a top 5, top 6 technically pick. So once again, turn on your notifications, guys. We'll be live in 4 days, an hour before the NFL draft, and that's exactly how you can hang out with us here. Here, I'll put it in the chat here. I don't know if you guys can see that. That is to our live stream. Just catching up here. Slick Ricky is the best sleeper. Just watch it. Just watch, or best or worst landing spot. Good stuff. We appreciate you. Just something for fun. You know, will Zach get a classic meltdown? I mean, I think the only way Zach gets a classic meltdown there, Chase, is if they go a completely different direction, an offensive line. That's meltdown. I don't think he'll get meltdown if it's JJ McCarthy. Any one of those, 3-4 quarterbacks, I don't think he'll have a meltdown. I think he'll have a meltdown if they go somewhere else outside of offensive, outside of quarterback there. Yeah, I do have, I do COD content, Zach, like I said. So it's going to be exciting. Hopefully you can follow me on Twitch over there. I'm going to be promoting it potentially a little bit. But anyways, we're here to grade some teams. Okay, first up here tonight, as I pull this up, give me a second. Once again, if you want your Dynasty team reviewed, use the promo code LAND. Go to the Mother Flocker website, use the promo code LAND. Select the Mother Flocker tier, and that's how you can be a get your team reviewed. Once again, super simple, super easy here. All right, today we're reviewing 3 teams. The first one up is Rollingstoned69. And by the way, we say this almost every live stream. If Ryan Jones is out there watching this live stream, as NVRCO is watching this live stream, we've been trying to contact you for nearly a month now, and we haven't gotten anything from you. We want to review your team. We want you to get what you're paying for, but we just need a little bit more information from you. So if you're out there, send us a message. Send us a message. The first team up is Rolling Stone. We appreciate you, Rolling Stone. Thank you so much for all the support here. He says SuperFlex tight end premium, 1.5 tight end premium. Okay, I have the 101, the 106, the 111, the 210, and the 307. Needs are quarterback, running back, and wide receiver tight end. So you need a whole new roster, it sounds like. At the 106, I'm looking at Bowers due to the fact that my team has a lot of Bears on it, and on it already. And if Rome goes to Chicago, and then at the 111, 206, and 307, would you grab whoever the Cowboys take? Also could add a tight end juggernaut team B variant with Bowers, Hawkinson, Kmet, Davis. Okay, new Ram starter. All right, so you have the 101 and the 106 in a Superflex tight end premium here. Let's kind of break it down. I actually have his team up already. That's the wrong one, the wrong link here. All right. Rolling Stone here. Once again, tight end premium. It is a start 10. And Rolling Stone is ranked 11th here, which is interesting. And this is a fairly, it's a I would say even balanced team. Let us know if you're in the chat here, Rolling Stone. I would say it's balanced from 99, 94, 89, and it's not too crazy of a dip. I guess the biggest dip is from 87 to 80 here from teams 4 to 5. But let's look it up here. Jalen Hurts, Kenny Pickett, Drew Lock, Desmond Ridder, Tyler Huntley, and Joshua Dobbs here. Really the only quarterback you have that we would be comfortable with here is Jalen Hurts. But you do have the 101, which we'll break down at the whiteboard. So look, Jalen Hurts is definitely the quarterback that you want, but that QB2 is going to be tremendous. But that 101 is definitely going to help you. But the depth and your QB3 that we always emphasize each and every live stream is that how's that QB room going to look like if one of your guys goes down? Is there somebody you can plug and play? And at the moment, the only one we can genuinely talk that up to is Drew Lock if we don't draft the quarterback at the 106 at the NFL draft, and if Daniel Jones is not ready. So keep that in mind. At the running back position, Ramondre Stevenson, Antonio Gibson, Zeke. This is a tough running back room. You have both New England's running back now, which is a huge problem. So you don't have 2 startable assets here, which is not the best either here. So we'll definitely have a room look at the running back room. Wide receivers, DJ Moore, Hollywood Brown, and the list kind of goes on here. Only 2 running backs that you really can look into, or 2 wide receivers you really can't start, and tight ends, TJ Hawkinson, Cole Kmet, and Davis Allen. You kind of mentioned already that you need essentially everything on this team here, Rolling Stone. And let me just double check. I'm pretty sure this is, doesn't say there. What's this, a start 10? So 2 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, right? 2 wide receivers, a tight end, 1 tight end, and what's that? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. So what? 3 flex? 3 flex spots. So you can start up to 5 wide receivers. Once again, let me know if you're in the chat. We can kind of break this down here. And I already preloaded this team. I'm going to preload this team here a little bit. So, and you have your 25 first, which is good. Your 26 first. So you do have some picks here. I'll be honest with you right off the rip. This is not a competing team. This is not a team that you want to continue to build off. I think what I would personally be doing right off front is trying to sell my assets for as much draft capital as I possibly can. And I see 2 assets that I would sell right now. Actually, I can name all of it. But before I get into that, let's go with stick and pick. You good? You have your 25 first. You have your 26 first. 26 second. You don't have your 25 second there, unfortunately. But you do have the 101, the 106, and the 111. All right, stick and pick. Caleb Williams here is going to be the quarterback of your future, no question. At the 106, honestly, that can be whatever. I know you did mention Brock Bowers. If this is a tight end premium, but maybe he is there. I would assume potentially he would be out of maybe picked already, but hey, Brock Bowers. I would think that Drake May. I would think Rome Odunze, and I would even say JJ McCarthy. Gosh, I'm terrible at typing. Bowers, Drake, JJ McCarthy is all there at the 106. And look, all these can definitely hit in different ways, no question. Like, we're definitely taking best player available in the rankings. In my rankings at the 106, I'll be honest with you, in the tight end premium, which is only 0.5 tight end premium, that doesn't necessarily move Brock Bowers in my rankings tremendously. And I've kind of solidified it, and I said it on the live stream before. If all 4 of those quarterbacks go somewhere else and all those 3 quarterbacks go in the top 5, and those 3 wide receivers go in the top 8, I'm taking essentially 9 of those guys or 8 of those guys ahead of Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers, in my opinion, is going to be falling outside the top 10, even top 12, and it's all going to depend on the landing spot that he goes to. We're not going to be excited if Brock Bowers potentially goes to the Broncos. We're not going to be excited if Brock Bowers falls to insert team that doesn't have an elite quarterback. We get excited about Brock Bowers going to the Chargers, going to the Cardinals, even though they don't need one, right? You get excited about an ideal landing spot, but at the moment, it kind of feels like he's going to be falling outside of these exciting teams or maybe questionable quarterbacks here. And at the 111, that can be A.D. Mitchell, Adonai Mitchell here. You can do Xavier Worthy, Lad, McConkey. Who else is there? I would even say, depending on the draft capital, Trey Benson and Jonathan Brooks. Jonathan Brooks are all in play. Let me put this all in one line here. Just gonna look visually better. Because I think that if they go to a top, right, high pick in the second round, and Trey Benson goes to the Cowboys, or Jonathan Brooks goes to the Cowboys, or maybe even the Cardinals or the Giants, I think we can definitely see one of these guys going in that top tier or late in the first round, because I think that is what's exciting when you think of these guys here. And at the 210, we always say BPA, best player available there for all those guys. But we kind of said it. I think we all kind of agreed here. Once again, Rolling Stones, if you are in the chat, it's all good. If not, and if you're watching this later, definitely use your fantasy hotline here. But looking at this team, man, I'm looking to pivot. I'm looking to get as much draft capital as I possibly can. Let me zoom in a little bit more for you guys can see this team, because that was a little bit small here. But yeah, like, look, there's only one player I'm keeping on this team. That's Jalen Hurts. The rest, I'm trying to get capital here, because it's clear. Look, you're not going to be competing, right? I mean, you can look at the top 5 teams: Anthony Richardson, Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, Devon, James Cook, and you have a stacked or decent wide receiver room there with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, Laporta Potty, CJ Kyler, Josh Jacobs, Alvin, Puka, Zay, Debo, Reed, Jacoby, Quinton, Sam Laporta, and Dalton Kincaid, and he has a top 10 pick in this draft. Team 3, Jordan Love, Dak Prescott there, Jonathan Taylor, CeeDee. I mean, look, these wide receiver rooms aren't the best for some of these guys, but you're nowhere near to competing with them, even if you were to add some. Oh, so this is your team, Caesar. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I'm just being completely honest with you here, brother. This is not a team that I'm wanting to continue to invest in. So I'll be happy with you acquiring Brock Bowers if you can sell TJ Hawkinson. You know, no question. And once again, we'll definitely break this down here, and let's break it down. Okay. Scenario 2, trade away for capital. These are players that I'll be trading away for capital. TJ Hawkinson, Ramondre Stevenson, DJ Moore. I love DJ Moore, but it's not someone you can really build with. I think you also have Hollywood Brown, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check that. Yeah, Hollywood Brown. That's honestly it. And I would say Gibson. And Antonio Gibson, all right? These are the guys that I'm willing to move away from if I possibly can, okay? And let's look, you have a tight end premium here, and if you do get Brock Bowers, I'm okay with, you know, drafting Brock Bowers there, or maybe a wide receiver, because it is a tight end premium, I get it. But maybe if you want to trade back and get some capital, that's something that we can do as well. Okay, so TJ Hawkinson, let's just look at some teams that potentially may need a tight end here. I just want to look at some of these top teams again, but some of these top teams do have some very favorable tight ends, like Kyle Pitts, Sam Laporta, Trey McBride. That's a hard guy to trade for. Here we go. Wagner, Pat Frymuth, Cade Alton. Like, where can we pivot to there? That would be exciting. He has a 25 first. Okay. I wonder how Zach does those arrows things. This is why Zach does it. I don't have the arrow function on my thing. I'm trying to think of how he does the arrows. But I think he does it like this. But mine doesn't automatic. Okay, yeah. He does 2. And then, so TJ Hawkinson, trading for capital. TJ Hawkinson, I would say any 25 first. Any 25 first is something that I will be excited for. Going down there. And we can definitely break it down, right? Like, we can even go, I'm happy to pivot to some of these wide receivers as well. Because if I can get some of these wide receivers off of some of these teams, especially in the tight end premium, where they kind of cost a little bit more, I'm definitely willing to do that, even if I have to give up a little bit more, right? I see Wagner here. I'll be looking into Chris Olave, right? Like, can I get Chris Olave? Can I get Chris Olave and I probably look, I'm happy to pay a little bit more since it's a premium. I'll send the 210 to get Chris Olave, right? That is something that I'm willing to do there. I'm not getting Deontay. Like I said, any 25 first. This is from Wagner. Let me put that team name. Let me put that team name in there for you so you can remember it. TJ Hawkinson. Let's look at some other teams here that need tight ends. Can I get that 108 from Team 6? Right, 108 from Foosball. right? I think that is a good even trade. Once again, trying to get into this draft, pivoting away from TJ Hawkinson. If you really wanted to get Brock Bowers in that top pick with the 106, or just getting more capital at the wide receiver position, I'm willing to trade out of that. I mean, we look at your team once again. It may not have the best tight ends, but if you really want to get Brock Bowers, who you potentially believe in, like you kind of mentioned, I'm okay with that. And then getting more draft capital. But since you have the 101, you'll have Jalen Hurts, Caleb Williams, and then if Brock Bowers just falls to you at the 106, I'm happy to do that in your thought process there. Let's go to Ramondre Stevenson here. I know we would say I don't think you can potentially get a second, to be honest. If you could, I would say any late second or early third. I don't think his value is going to get any higher than this, to be completely honest. And I'm also an advocate of this team drafting another running back, excuse me. So I can definitely see these guys, value plummeting after the NFL draft, because Antonio Gibson is not the long-term answer. It's a new head coaching regime there in New England, and Ramondre Stevenson, once again, was it fifth round pick? They're not going to be investing in him. I think they could be a team that can get a Benson, a Brooks, maybe a Braylon Allen, an Audric Estimate. Insert any one of these running backs that we love in this NFL draft that may not be as, I guess, quote unquote talented than a Ramondre Stevenson, that may not be as scary as Ramondre Stevenson, but we can definitely see the vision of them taking opportunity away. Any third for Antonio Gibson, I don't see his value rising there whatsoever either. And then DJ Moore is I would say our second biggest pivot here. You can potentially get capital because the way we value DJ Moore in our community, DJ Moore for us is pretty significant. I know in Keep Trade Cut, which is a big community here, he is valued as wide receiver 20. Zach and I both have him, if I'm not mistaken, top 12 or top 15 in our rankings. I definitely have him top 12 in my rankings. I'm not sure where Zach has him currently. But once again, if I can pivot to one of these guys, how about you trade away TJ Hawkinson for DJ, right? You trade away TJ Hawkinson, and then you trade for another tight end. And I remember a tight end here, name of Dalton Kincaid and Sam Laporta. He has Puka, Zay, Jaden Reed, Jacoby Myers there. Can I do DJ Moore for Dalton Kincaid? Look, I'm not sure, but once again, this is a starting point. This is something that you can have a conversation. Let's see what they say here. This is a fair trade. Let's put tight end premium. Okay. You add the tight end premium, and look, this is a starting point. Once again, willing to add the 210 to this again, right? Willing to add 210 to acquire Dalton Kincaid, and I would personally rather have Dalton Kincaid over TJ Hawkinson at the moment. A younger tight end, no injuries on an offense that we believe with an elite quarterback as well. What happens if the Vikings don't draft JJ McCarthy? And I would also say you could potentially wait for TJ Hawkinson to get this quarterback, insert JJ McCarthy, insert Drake May if they do trade up to get someone like him. That just rises his value even more in this trade, where you could potentially get more out of someone like one of these Wagner or Foosball teams. Maybe you can get the 107 or the 106. Maybe you can get Chris Olave and more. But at the same time, if they don't draft a quarterback, that can also hurt his value there as well. DJ Moore in the 210 for Dalton Kincaid here. And that is a phenomenal one for Laporta Potty. Laporta Potty. Some elite names here in this league. No question about it. Okay, let's see what else we could do for DJ Moore. Once again, trying to get some draft capital here. Who has like the 107? Okay. Jordan Love, Dak Prescott, Bijan, CeeDee. What if, CeeDee Lamb, Tank Dell, J-Mo? Let's see, can we get the 107 for DJ Moore? DJ Moore. For the 107, let's see what the community thinks about that. That, once again, another trade you can add the 210 to if you want to give some capital. Getting into that first round. Let's see what our Flock fantasy community thinks about that. I'm interested to see what that looks like. Give me a second as I pull this up. Because once again, we love DJ Moore, but if we can get that capital for him in a team like this that just needs that tight end premium. Let me just click on that. All right, this is our community rankings. So you received the 107 and you send DJ Moore. Let's see what our community thinks that's a fair trade. So I think that's a pretty decent trade to getting the 107. Once again, you're trying to get as much capital in this draft class currently, or as much capital with the team that you currently have, because once again, you are not competing here. I'm trying to strip this away. That's kind of who we have. Hollywood Brown is probably the last guy that we can pivot to, or is the last guy we can pivot off of, excuse me. In the community right now, I know Hollywood Brown is going for any early to mid second round pick, right? Early to mid second rounder. Or we can potentially pivot to somebody, like if we could trade Hollywood Brown to one of these competing teams here, for somebody that we like a little bit more. Can we get the 201? Right, let's kind of break this down a little bit more so we can put some draft capital to this. Hollywood Brown for the 201 from team, I don't even know how to say that. I'm just gonna put that as an abbreviation. Right, can I get the 201? I want to see what the community thinks about that as well. Because once again, I'm happy to give away my 210 for that. What's going on here? Okay, see, that's another thing I'll give up. 210. Hollywood Brown plus 210 for the 201. Getting up there into that draft capital there. Trying to see who else we can go to here. Tank Dell. I don't think you can get Tank Dell. And the community has him as wide receiver 36. What about, this may be interesting, and I know a lot of people will not agree to this. What about Hollywood Brown for Rashee Rice? Right, Zach and I have been on the train that, look, we understand that Richie Rich is going to be getting, maybe getting suspended for a game or two, and we don't really know the outcome there, but we just know that with the severity of other incidents that's happened in the NFL, which sounds terrible to say, Rashee Rice's incident doesn't seem as bad as you look at everyone else's situation that has happened in the NFL. Now, he put some people's lives at risk, but if I could do Hollywood Brown for Rashee Rice, I'm willing to do that and pivot, because I still believe in Rashee Rice trying to tear down. But I can understand if you don't want to do that there, Rolling Stone. I wonder if you would do Hollywood Brown for Jahan Dotson. Where's Dotson ranked right now in the community? And that's a risky move. That is a risky move, but let's see. You slightly lose. So can I get Jahan Dotson? Another Hollywood Brown, Jahan Dotson. Can I get something else in return there? I was gonna say the 208. We could do 208 plus 208. I would even say Hollywood Brown, Jahan Dotson for any 25 second. But once again, trying to trade back out of trying to trade all my draft capital so you can get more in next year. I would even say for DJ Moore, let's add this for DJ Moore as well. We can add any 20. Gosh, any 25 first. So any 25 first for DJ Moore, any 25 first for TJ Hawkinson, which means you can get up to up to two 25 first, which I'm pretty sure you have another one. So you have 3 25 first there, and just trying to get so much draft capital here. So let's see what else. I just want to make sure that we have all scenarios down packed here. I'm keeping Jalen Hurts. He is my quarterback of the future. I'm drafting Caleb Williams. So let's do kind of best case scenario here, right? You get Caleb Williams, and let's just say Drake May falls to you. I wonder how he does that. Is it alt? No, he doesn't do that. Caleb Williams, Drake May. Well, you actually wanted Brock Bowers, so let's do Brock Bowers here. We'll take Drake May out. And then let's just say you get a Lab McConkey at the 111. Because he goes to, I don't know, he goes to a favorable team that you really like in the second round. And then you trade away TJ Hawkinson for any first. You trade away TJ Hawkinson for any first, and you trade away DJ Moore for Dalton Kincaid. That's exciting right there. You get Hollywood Brown for, let's say, the 201, just to solidify. So now you have some great draft capital. You have a new tight end that you pivot off of. You have a 25 first, an extra 25 first. You have Caleb Williams, Brock Bowers, and Lab McConkey here. That is going to be the start of what's going to be happening for your team going into the 2025 draft class there. Let us know if you have any questions. I think it was Caesar. Let me know if I'm right or wrong here, Caesar. If this is you, Rolling Stoned, let me know if you have any questions in the chat. If not, we can moving on to the next team here. I see a couple people talking up here in the chat. I think he wanted the Cowboys running back. Oh, this is not Caesar's team. Okay, that's fine. Timothy says, I think you want that Cowboys running back at the 111 if they draft high. Yeah, and I'm happy to get that one. I'm happy for him to get Benson, but you know, you're kind of leaning on it. Sorry, you can't expect that to happen. Just catching up with the chat here. Okay, we'll go to the next one here. I'm going to send this to him. Let me see if I can find him here. Rolling Stone. Here we go. See him right there. What was Rolling Stone name again? This is always the hardest part, trying to find these guys. So here we go. Rolling Stone. Here we go. Okay. All right, let's go to the next team here. Once again, if you guys want to get your team reviewed by myself, and normally Zach, he's normally here with me, all you have to do is sign up using the Mother Flocker tier, and that's exactly how, using our promo code LAND, select the Mother Flocker tier on the Flock Fantasy website, and that's exactly how you can get your Dynasty team reviewed with us on any given live stream that we are doing when we are grading your Dynasty team. So once again, use the promo code LAND, go to the Mother Flocker tier, and that's how you can unlock this perfect perk. By the way, not only do you get that, you get so much more, as you can see here, right? A rookie report, which you're going to be updating after the NFL draft, by the way, with so much good stuff and all of that hit rate that Zach has been doing here. Dynasty team reviews, of course, our trade calculator, and so much more there. All right, let's go to the next team. Let's see who we got next here as I am pulling this up. It is jsnicks. Let us know if you're in the chat here. Big J. Here's his team. Oh, Steven, brother, you know, we're going live on our redraft channel, which is already in the chat. Go set up your notifications. We're going live an hour before, doing a mock draft, a fun mock draft, giving our last minute predictions on this as well, which is going to be fun and exciting. So definitely come through. We appreciate you. Michael says, after I sign up, where on the Discord do I list my roster? Okay, so that's a great question. So once you join our Discord and you sign up using our promo code LAND, come to the Fantasyland tab and then go to roster submissions. You're gonna have this section unlocked. You're gonna be able to submit your team. You can see at the very bottom here, you can just submit your team, put in all the information, starting lineup, your sleeper ID with any context that you have, maybe trades that you made, and a screenshot of any trades that you made or whatever the case may be. And that's exactly how and where you can submit your roster submissions here. So once again, go to the Flock Fantasy website, use the promo code LAND, select the Mother Flocker tier, and that's how you can unlock that. So jsnicks is up here. Let's go back up to the top here. It's league settings, 12 team, start 10, SuperFlex, passing touchdowns, 6-point half PPR. Okay, complete rebuild with the 101, 107. This 108 this year. Nothing good to expect. Nothing good except Mahomes and Kyler. Need all the help I can get here. Okay, sleeper ID. Here we go. Let's get this new guy up. Change league. Power rankings. What was his team name again? Punt. All right. Oh boy, it's another tough one here. Let us know if you're in the chat, Jay. Come on, Snicks. This might be a tough one. We got two tough ones back to back here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's break it down. Quarterbacks: Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray. Once again, he's in a complete rebuild. He's in a complete rebuild here. Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, great quarterbacks. Let's see. I'm assuming you might get either Caleb Williams or Marlon Harrison Jr. at the 101. We'll definitely break it down. Running backs are Justice Hill. I mean, there's no one that I even want to mention on this team, respectfully. You have no starting running backs going into this year, which is okay, because let's try and get some high draft capital while we, I guess, respectfully tank. Wide receivers, Devonta Smith, Jackson Smith and Jigba, J-Mo, Jerry, Shakir, Quinton, Rashad Bateman, and the list goes on there. Yeah, once again, decent wide receivers. I think you have some foundational pieces here, no doubt about it, if some of these guys can break out. But really, the only 2-3 guys I'm excited about is Devonta, Jackson Smith, and Jameson. You can get excited about Quinton if they don't draft a wide receiver in the first round. That can definitely change things, but we'll wait and see. Tight ends, Luke Shoemaker and Juwan Johnson, which is really absolutely nothing here. So this is a real complete rebuild. It looks like you're already in the start of that here. So let's kind of break this down. Let's get this whiteboard up and going here for you. How do you do that? Paste without format. Here we go. So you do have a 25 first, which is good. You got your 26 first. You got two 26 first, which is great. You have your 25 and 26 seconds. All right, look, so you still have your draft capital, which is really exciting in the future, and you have fifth round picks here, which we always say, why you have 5th round picks? Guys are working at Chili's at the end of the season. Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one here, because you're just going to be sticking and picking and going best player available off the top of my head. But let's break it down. Maybe do we trade some players? Do we pivot off of some guys? Let's see what we can get here. You don't have crazy stacked picks either. So at the 101, Caleb Williams at the 101 here. At the 107, that can be Roma Dunze. If he falls, that can be Brock Bowers. If he falls, that can be a JJ McCarthy. We've seen him go at the 107. If he doesn't get the landing spot, if you want to get another quarterback, I'm trying to think of who else that could potentially be here. Let me pull up. I always do this late, but let me pull up my rankings and see who's at the 107 for me. But look, it's not looking great. I'll be honest with you at the 107 here. Brian Thomas Jr. That's another one. I always forget about Brian Thomas Jr. And that's kind of the sweet spot for some of these guys here. So I think you can definitely understand how this might be a little bit difficult. At the 108, very similar here. You kind of just get into that second range of different players. So I would say Brian Thomas Jr. is in that range as well. I would also say Adonai Mitchell. Gosh, I'm spelling Mitchell again wrong. Xavier Worthy, if they go to the landing spot. Lamakonki. But I think that gets really difficult where you kind of want to be getting maybe as many best players available as you can, which this is could definitely be the case here. So that's a 210 is best player available. We always say on onwards. Man, this is complete rebuild. I don't want to leave you with nothing here, but I mean, unless you tear down for Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray to get some draft capital, that's kind of what I'm thinking, which I really don't want to do. I'll be honest with you, I don't want to tear down for Patrick Mahomes to a Jared Goff or maybe getting another one. I mean, can we though? I'm thinking this out in my head here for you, Snicks. Do I want to trade Patrick Mahomes and maybe get like the 102, the 103 plus some more draft capital? Or do I want to just set and forget with my quarterbacks and build? I'll give you the scenario. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying, I'm just thinking out loud here, right? I'm thinking out loud and giving you every single scenario that you could potentially do. Because if you know you complete rebuild and you want to maybe get some capital, what can we get if we pivot off of Mahomes, right? Mahomes, for a lot of people, is the bread and butter. This is the cream of the crop. This is everything and more, right? Can I trade away Patrick Mahomes? And before I even break this down, let's just see. Once again, this is a 12 team. Once again, I'm not saying you should do this. Just saying, if someone's willing to give you the house, none of these guys look appealing here. Let me just double check. CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Team 4, Sam Howell. This guy has the 102 and the 103, but I mean, he's gonna want to keep his picks. He's also not competing anytime soon. Like, do I want the 102, the 25 first? And Dalton? I don't think he's gonna do that. That's just absurd. Josh Allen, Aiden O'Connell, he has a 106. I feel like this is the only person you could potentially trade with here, because I don't want to move outside of, I don't want anything less than the 102. I don't want anything less than the 102 in my personal opinion. Look, I'm not saying that you should do this or if this may even be possible. This is a starting point. This is a starting point. And you let me know if you want to do this, right? I mean, once again, you use your fantasy hotline. Can you get the 102? A 25 first. Because remember, this guy is not competing. He's not going to have, him getting Patrick Mahomes is not going to, it's not going to catapult his team. I do believe this could potentially be a top 5 team or bottom 5 team, because he has Puka, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Rashee Rice, but there's no running backs. Plus Dalton Kincaid. Once again, Kincaid. I doubt this can happen, but this is a starting point. See what happens. Maybe this is not enough for Patrick Mahomes in some people's eyes. Let's see what the community thinks. On 102, 25, let's say mid first, and Dalton. people that, according to the trade calculator, that people in the community saying that you lose that trade if you get Patrick Mahomes. You have to give up more. So that's probably the least amount I want for Patrick Mahomes, because I love Dalton Kincaid. That 25 first feels really locked in my personal opinion, in the 102. But I don't think there's anyone else that, and any other team that I want to be moving on from personally, unless I can get a 2-for-1 where I feel really comfortable, maybe at the wide receiver position. You know what I didn't do? I didn't break down how many starts there are on this team here. It's a start 10. So I'm assuming it's the exact same thing as the last team, with 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 3 flex. So you can start up to 5 wide receivers there potentially. Let me just double check. What's that? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's the starting lineup here for jsnicks. So wide receivers are pretty important in this league. I see, like Justin Jefferson is something else. Just doesn't feel what I want there. Because what you can do, the reason why I'm thinking about this is because you have the 101, you get Caleb Williams, you have Kyler Murray. You can then get another quarterback, or you can get another wide receiver and Marvin Harrison Jr. But even then, still, that makes it difficult here. So this is a tough one to kind of break down. I'll be honest with you, and I think what you basically what you can do is stick and pick. I do have one other player that I can say you can pivot off of, and that's really, which is not really the best time to pivot off of him, because I think it's more difficult to kind of sell him at the moment. That's Devonta Smith on your team. Let's go back to your team here. You can't get anything for Jackson Smith and Jigba. You barely can get anything for Devonta Smith. I mean, I think Jackson Smith and Jigba is more valuable than Devonta Smith right now in the community. Okay, never mind. I was about to say, I feel like a lot of people would rather have Jackson Smith and Jigba right now than Devonta Smith personally. I know that it may not be exciting, and a lot of people are worried, at least I'm worried about, I'm personally worried about Saquon Barkley and where is Devonta Smith's production is going to be coming from now that Saquon's there. So I find that really, really difficult to kind of envision here. But Devonta Smith is somebody that you can trade, or you might as well just hold. Maybe sell in season at if he's going off. I think that is probably the best thing I can say for you there. Because, man, honestly, I don't want to leave you with nothing. But this is a nothing scenario. You have no one to trade or pivot off of. And I already said the only one I think you can do is Patrick Mahomes, which I'm hesitant on even saying that you should do that. I think you stick and pick. And look, I would say the best scenario for Devonta Smith here, since you're not going to be competing, is Devonta Smith for a 25 first. That's probably the best thing you can do right there. If I can get another random 25 first and just continue to build and pivot to the 25 class, which you have your 25 first, you have your 25 second, I'm willing to do that. None of these tight ends are worth nowhere near value. Quentin Johnson is barely worth a second. Shakira, Jerry Jeudy. I saw Jerry Jeudy for a late second in my league. Jerry Jeudy for any late second. Why am I writing that out? For any late second. I'm just trying to find as much capital and as much opportunity for you to. Let's put any mid to late second. That's in 24 and 25. J-Mo, there's no value there. Jackson Smith and Jigba, you have the 107, the 108, 109 area. You could probably get the 109 for Jackson Smith, but I think I would rather hold. And Devonta Smith, man. This is a tough one to do here. I think this is the best that I can genuinely give you here, and I don't want to leave you with nothing. Complete rebuild with the 107. Nothing good to accept. Need all the help I can get. I think it's best for you here, brother, to just draft best player available at every position here. And in season, if one of these guys breaks off or breaks out, you sell him. If Jet McKinnon is once again, a somebody that you can potentially get here at or be a top 25 running back again, like we saw in the past couple of years, you can definitely sell him for any second, any third. I'm willing to. You sell these guys at the perfect time here. Pivot off Mahomes, Devonta Smith. I mean, the next best scenario here is the 101. Pivoting off there from the 101. Yeah, like Chase is saying, there's a trade back scenario at the 101. The reason why I'm hesitant at the 101 there, I just don't think anyone's going to be giving him a haul. Like, there's no one here that I can get that's going to make my team compete or I can build off of in the future. Like, I'm not trading the 101 for Justin Jefferson at the moment. Like, respectfully, you can't do that with this team. Like, why would I trade the 101 plus more for Justin Jefferson? Maybe I can get Justin Jefferson and another wide receiver and do a 2-for-1 with like one of these high caliber wide receivers. That doesn't help my team. Like, if I trade the 101 hypothetically for Justin Jefferson and a 25 first, I guess that helps. But I still want another quarterback. I can trade back to the 102 or the 103, but if this guy wants to give me the 102, like that's the thing. Am I getting the 102, the 101 plus Drake London for the 102? I mean, that could be a possibility. Let's see. Let's see. I think we found potentially one team. Trade back from the 101. Now, do I want to trade back the 101 to the 102 and get Drake London? I just don't think that's enough still. I don't think that's enough. This is the only guy you can do it with, because if I'm trading back to the 102 or the 103. I'm not trading back to the 104 unless the 104 has like, let me not put my foot in my mouth here, because the 104 guy could potentially have somebody that we might want. 106, 103, 105, 104. See, like, am I trading the 101 to get the 104? I'm not doing for any of these wide receivers, respectfully. And I like these wide receivers. I can do the 104 for Jordan Love. The 101, the 104 for Jordan Love. Do I want to do that? But I have the 101. That still keeps me in that neighbor's range. That keeps me in that another quarterback range where I can get a May. I don't mind this trade here, but I just get more draft capital here for the 104. All right, let's give him every best case scenario here or every possible scenario. And Jay, you let us know in your fantasy hotline if you like to do something like this. Because I think it's an interesting move, but I'm not jumping to it. But I want to give you as much as possible since you're very limited in moves in this build. And with your draft capital here at the 101 getting Caleb Williams or having Caleb Williams, and once again, you want an absolute haul. Is this haul enough for you? I think this might be interesting for me. So I get the 104 plus Jordan Love. If you're a Jordan Love guy, you still get your quarterback that gives you that third quarterback, and then you still fall into that Malik Neighbors range, which is exciting. You know, Zach says he has both of them in the same tier. I have them in different tiers, but if I can get Malik Neighbors here as well, and not Caleb Williams, Malik goes to the Chargers, something along those lines, that's exciting. But once again, is that enough for you? Do you need something else in that trade, right? Can you get a Jaden Reed? I'll put that. Once again, maybe that's not enough for some people. Let's do that same thing for Zay Flowers. Let's do that same thing. That's honestly it. I'll be honest with you. We can do that for a 25 first. You still get into you get another first in that range. You want an absolute haul for the 101 getting Caleb Williams, but maybe I'm overvaluing this. But I definitely want to get another draft pick here, and he has Team Melvin. What's Team Melvin's? Team Melvin might be somebody that you want. Kirk Cousins, Joe Mixon. That's okay. Doesn't matter which 25 first, man. I think these are the top 3 scenarios I can give you right now. Best one is sticking to picking or potentially moving on for absolute hauls here. Can I get Jordan Love there? I would even say the same thing here for Patrick Mahomes. A different scenario if you do want to do that. Like, this is an interesting scenario for Patrick Mahomes here. Once again, you let me know, but I don't mind this trade for Patrick Mahomes, and I can get the 104, which is still Neighbors, Jordan Love, and a 25 first. I'll be interested in that as well. I think Patrick Mahomes is valued at the 101 there. But yeah, in this build, it's going to be really difficult to get any draft capital, or getting any trade back or anything at all with the pieces that you have. And hopefully that helps, and hopefully I'm not being as harsh. Hopefully I can bring you as much as possible. Use your fantasy hotline there, jsnicks. I know you're probably not in the chat, but we appreciate you. We appreciate the support. This is a very, very difficult build that we've seen for the first time. I'll be honest with you. That is like a build that I think this is the first one we've seen where there's nothing that we can genuinely help you with. All right, and I'll send this whiteboard to you on your fantasy hotline. Once again, let us know if you have any other questions through your fantasy hotline. This was an interesting build, a fun build, but a very difficult build. We appreciate all the support here and everything that you're doing. Chase definitely has Chasing has some ideas for you. He says, I got the 104 traded back. I think it would be hard to get much more unless he adds something else to his side, like a future non-first pick. Yeah, and I'm happy to add a non-feature first pick like that 210 that you have just to get something going. I'm happy to add a Rashad Bateman. I'm happy to add a Jerry Jeudy into that trade if you really wanted to as well there. So keep that in mind. All right, going to the next one. Guys, looks like Zach's in the chat. He was answering some questions here, which is great. If you want to sign up, get your Dynasty team reviewed, like we've been saying, we've been preaching each and every live stream. Sign up, going to the Flog Fantasy website, using the promo code LAND, then selecting the Mother Flocker tier, linking your account, like Zach said, with Discord, and then going to roster submissions, and that's exactly how you can link or submit your rosters. Like we've seen here with multiple people here. The roster submissions. There we go. I say Obi-Wan did it. See? Sends a screenshot, or maybe I want to give all the information out. But I mean, it's there, so people can see it technically. But we appreciate each and every one of you. Once again, all you have to do, let me pull this up for you guys as well. Sign up going to the Flock Fantasy website using our promo code LAND, okay, selecting the Mother Flocker tier, and that's exactly how you can sign up and get your Dynasty team reviewed here with us. Okay, our next guy on the list is Ryan. A great member, somebody that's been following us for a long time. We appreciate you, Ryan. Thank you so much. Let me know if you're in the chat here. And the sun went away from me. I have a new light setup coming here, guys, which is exciting. So let me put my ISO up for you so you can get just a little bit more light. I'm not crazy dark. That's good. All right, Ryan is here. You love to see it, Ryan. Ask as many questions as you want in the chat. Let me just get your team up here as we do that. We appreciate your support. An OG, triple OG. Thank you so much for everything that you've been doing. I mean, you've been supporting us for a while. Like I said, day one, if I'm not mistaken. It feels like you've been supporting us. Also in the fantasy league with us, which is great. All right, let's pull this up here. And let's go to the context. All right, 12 team SuperFlex tight end premium half PPR start 9. So that's a start 9. Let me break this down really fast. Two quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 quarterbacks, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end. What's that? 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, and 2 flex, I'm assuming. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Ryan. I'm assuming that is your starting lineup. 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 1 flex, 2 wide receivers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Start 9. Says you guys reviewed this team last spring, right after I joined with Flock. Had a good rookie draft last summer, other than taking JSN over Stroud at the 104. That's a tough one. I mean, no one could have expected that. No one could have told you that. I think a lot of people were in that boat there with JSN, so that is a tough one. But yeah, 104 JSN, 112 Kendre Miller, 306 Sam Laporta, Jaden Reed 404. Wow, Tank Dell in the 5-3. And Trent and Palmer there. It says I finished with the 4th best odds to get the 101 based on max points 4. On max points 4 this past season, ended up getting the 101. Okay, that's great. I have the 101, the 105, the 109, the 110, the 2-1, and the 210. And other picks this year, and a 225 first. Okay, a few trades this past year. We'll break this down in a second. Kind of want to see. We'll come back to this. We'll come back to this part. So should I move the 101 to get a top quarterback to pair with Lamar? If so, who would you target? Justin Herbert owner is looking to rebuild, so potentially there, or sticking and pick Caleb. Thoughts on directions to go with the rest of the first and seconds? Should I try to consolidate to upgrade to a higher end wide receiver? I'm shopping Zamir White before the NFL draft. Would appreciate your guys' input on where to go next. Favorite Dynasty channel. We appreciate you, Ryan. Thank you so much. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 superflex. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the 2 quarterbacks, I guess, is the superflex as well, which is 3 wide receivers and 1 flex. Yeah, that's okay. It's basically the same. So yeah, thank you so much for that, Ryan. And let's have a look at this, and then I'll look at these trades that you made as we pulled up here. You said your team was Buckeye Swag, if I'm not mistaken. I'm really interested to see. Actually, let's break it down now. Let's break it down now. I guess that's how a few trades this past year. On August 6th, trade away DJ Moore for 25 first, the 305 and the 311. Okay, so you got a 25 first. I'm okay with that. It's going to be interesting to see where that goes. August 18th, trade away Tyler Algier for Chase Brown in the 3-1. Okay, I like that as well, getting Chase Brown. The league isn't crazy active January, March, since the rookie draft is until July, but it's starting to pick up. Okay, that's fair. All right, I like those trades. I don't mind the DJ Moore one. You know how we feel. We love DJ Moore. We think he could be a top guy. I have him top 12 at the moment. But let's look at this team here and look at the draft capital and going to the whiteboard here. So clearly you are first in the rankings, 99th, 94. So it's a pretty, it's heavy balance. Top 4 guys, top 3 guys really are the go. The rest are nobodies, respectfully. Let's see this second team here. Josh Allen, Will Levis. Okay, so there's definitely weaknesses at that quarterback position. This is probably the best quarterback room, but not the strongest running back room there. Okay, Lamar Jackson, Jacoby Brissett, Kenny Pickett, Hendon Hooker, and Tyler Huntley there. You did talk about trading away Lamar Jackson to get someone like a Justin Herbert. We'll definitely get into that. We always say we like 3 quarterbacks. You have the one-on-one. Potentially getting Caleb is something that you can definitely do. We'll definitely break it down on the whiteboard. But at the moment, having Lamar Jackson there and no one else is definitely going to be a problem unless we can get somebody. So keep that in mind. Running backs, Saquon Barkley, Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Warren, Zamir White, Kendrick Miller, Chase Brown downtown. I think this is a decent running back room. You really don't have to move it. You guys know how we feel. Having these running backs and not building off of them as foundational pieces is pretty huge. So having Saquon, Pacheco, and Jalen Wright, and then trying to sell Zamir White in season is going to be a huge help for you here, Ryan. So we'll definitely break that down as well. Wide receivers, Jalen Waddle, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tank Dell. Remember, you can start up to up to 5 wide receivers. Sorry, you can start up to 4 wide receivers. Excuse me. Up to 4 wide receivers. So Jalen Waddle, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tank Dell, George Pickens, Jaden Reed. So you definitely have some good capital there at the wide receiver position. You also have Shakira, Darnell Mooney, who I love coming into this year. And you have the 105, which is going to be either prime landing spot for one of those wide receivers, a Neighbors, a Rome Odunze, or whatever that looks like for you. And then Sam Laporta, Jake Ferguson. This is a perfect tight end room as well. So you definitely have some great moves here. Gosh, that was so fast. And a great foundational team here, Ryan. So let's break this down and get this going here for you. So you still have you have 225 first, which is great. You have a 26 first, which is also great. You have your 25 and 26 second. So you have all your draft capital, looks like, for the next 2 years, which is exactly what you want. So yeah, I mean, this is a great team, brother. This is something that you actually, this could be a let you fall scenario here. So let's do stick and pick scenarios as always. Ryan at the 101, Caleb Williams. I think it's an easy one. Getting Caleb Williams and Lamar Jackson is going to automatically change this team around for you. Having a second quarterback here is going to be phenomenal. At the 105, we always say go best player available. That can be a Drake May. That can fall to the 105 if he doesn't get the best landing spot. A lot of people don't like him going to the Giants or to the Patriots. He can fall to the 105. We've seen it. Rome Odunze can definitely fall to you here at the 105. Brock Bowers is somebody that you can definitely go out and get as well. But you have Sam Laporta, which can definitely be interesting there. I'm not going to say Malik Neighbors is going to be available. I will say Malik Neighbors could potentially be available there. Let's do Malik, because if those quarterbacks land in a more favorable landing spots than Malik Neighbors can definitely fall there to the 105. So you definitely have some players to work around with. At the 109, definitely some good guys here. Adonai Mitchell, we say all the time, is going to land there. What about Brian Thomas Jr.? Could definitely land there as well. You have the Lamaconkis. You have Trey Bensons. Gosh. At the 109, the 110 is very similar as well. That just opens up a little bit more. I would probably put Xavier Worthy in there as well. Let's just put Worthy. These are all the same players going at the 110. And the 201, this is where you can still get your Bensons if they don't have the best landing spot. Your Jonathan Brooks, which is interesting as well. Your Troy Franklins. I think Troy Franklin is going to be more of a second round pick than a first round pick, in my personal opinion, which our ranking is going to be out with our rookie report right after the NFL draft. Once again, Trey Benson's, your Jonathan Brooks, your Troy Franklins. You can do your you know, you can do these second tier type of wide receivers. Like I doubt you're gonna take them over someone, but like Ricky Pearsall can definitely be there, you know, and the list kind of goes on. The 210 and everywhere else is best player available, as you know. Okay, so we start off with this good foundation here. Let's see where we can land. And here comes the sun out again, which is making me blown out. A classic. Took my light down today. All right. Let's look at this team here. So with the 101, getting Caleb Williams and Lamar Jackson is something very interesting. So let's break down what you said you were thinking about getting Justin Herbert, right? Let's see where you said a few trades. Should I move the 101 to get a top end quarterback to pair with Lamar? If so, who would you target? Justin Herbert owner is looking to rebuild, so potentially there. Or should I stick and pick Caleb? I think just getting Justin Herbert is going to be a good move, but it all depends on what capital you can get in return. Now, you said that Justin Herbert is rebuilding, which makes me believe that he is probably not going to give you too much capital because he's going to want to keep as much capital as possible. Did I not see? Okay, Justin Herbert. You see, I instantly don't see anyone else that I want off this team. Justin Herbert, I don't want a Monty. Like, I need an absolute haul. And to be honest with you, Justin Herbert in the community is not valued the way we are valuing him, right? I mean, if you look on Keep Trade Cut just alone, gotta open up another on. So like the 101 straight up for Herbert, you're gonna need so much more there. And there's nothing more that I believe here that you can have. Now, you can definitely get a Tyreek Hill or Cooper Kupp. You have your top 4 wide receivers that you can start. But I personally believe getting Caleb Williams is somebody that I would rather have. And for me, in my rankings, the way I'm projecting where Caleb Williams is going to be going at the moment, it's going to be really close next to Justin Herbert. So I definitely still have Justin Herbert as a top 7 quarterback, but Caleb Williams at the moment is going to be my quarterback 9. Quarterback 9, quarterback 8 type of range is where I'm projecting him to be in my dynasty rankings and my quarterback rankings specifically. So you're not necessarily tiering back. Yes, you're tiering to a more solidified prospect in the NFL, a solidified player, a guy that's going to be averaging a lot of points on a week-to-week basis. But I don't think there's a natural pivot here, unfortunately, to acquire Justin Herbert. Now, if you're telling me I can get Justin Herbert and a 25 first, but he doesn't even have a 25 first. You see, that's what's very difficult here. I could do it for a 26 first, but it just feels too far out, especially if you're going to be competing this year. I think Caleb Williams definitely brings you into that. So I personally would be sticking and picking there, Ryan. Like, I don't think this guy's gonna do like Justin Herbert and Tyreek for the 101. Like, would I want to do that? Because that definitely can solidify your wide receiver room where you have Waddle, Smith, Tank, Tyreek with Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert, and then you have the 105 getting Malik Neighbors. So if you feel confident in a more win now situation, going all in, I think I might be okay with that. So let's talk up this scenario here of pivoting off the 101. And look, if you were watching with us, Ryan, you saw how much we were just getting for the 101 before in the last trade. But I think with the context and with the scenarios that you have here, pivoting off the 101 and you in a win now scenario, maybe is it worth taking the hit here? But let's see. So the 101, once again, you can open the door. If you like it, you like it. I just want to give you as many scenarios as possible. So the 101 for Justin Herbert. For Justin Herbert, plus, I said Tyreek Hill. Plus, I mean, look, this may be absurd. But that 26, well, he wants to rebuild, so he's not going to give you that 26 first. but you kind of understand where I'm going here, right? Like you can probably see Justin Herbert, Tyreek Hill. I'm happy to get Monty, but Monty is just like, nah. I'd rather have another wide receiver here, but there's no one here that I actually love. He has no capital in 25 and 24. He has no capital in 26. Sorry, 25. He does have a second in 25. Yeah, look, and some people trade, it might be absurd, but that's the price for the 101. That is the price for the 101 there. And if you were with us earlier, I was getting like 3-4. I was getting Jordan Love, the 104, and so much more for the 101. But Ryan, I think in this scenario, if you're winning and if you're trying to compete, I'm trying to do this, and let's see what the community thinks. It may be crazy, and if that is the case, I'm happy to give up something. Right? I'm happy to give up that 201. Look at that. The 101 and the 201. And look. True key trade calculator is what's absurd. Yeah, and some people use this as the Bible. We don't. We're just using this as a reference. We're using it as a reference because some people love this this resource and really go buy it. And if they see this and you send a screenshot to them, be like, okay, I don't mind doing that. Look, I'm happy whichever way you want to go there. Ryan, you let me know. Maybe once again, this is absurd, but I'm also happy to keep the 101 and draft Caleb Williams here. Let's go back to your team here. Saquon Barkley, Isaiah Pacheco. Honestly, I think this might be a great stick and pick type of team here, Ryan. And with this team would have looked extremely different if you would have taken. Imagine you had CJ Stroud on this team, Ryan. I think that's what's frustrating you right now. Instead of having that Jackson Smith and Jigba, having Jackson Smith and Jigba, you hit on Sam Laporta and you hit on CJ Stroud if you would have taken him. Gosh. That would have been absolutely crazy if that was your team here. Just trying to think of some other pieces here. I'm keeping Sam Laporta. I don't want to pivot off of Saquon Barkley, Isaiah Pacheco, because I do believe you are competing. Let's go players only here. You're fourth, and that's instantly going to catapult you there with Caleb Williams, which I really, really like here for you. So I'm willing to keep it there. Tank Dell, I like Jackson Smith and Jigba. Now I'm always been a big advocate of, in my personal opinion, trading away Jackson Smith and Jigba. And I know you spent a lot of draft capital on him with that 104 pick of last year. But I just feel a lot more confident in some of these guys in this draft class, that if I can potentially go back into that, I would. Now the perfect sweet spot for someone like a Jackson Smith and Jigba is actually the 109. So one thing that I'm thinking is, can I send JSN, which I understand if you want to keep him here as well. Can I send JSN plus that 210 that you have to get the 10? What is it? You have the 108? Yeah, or you don't have the 108. Can I get the 108 there? I just feel more confident in that 108 prospect. Once again, that's Adonai Mitchell, Brian Thomas Jr., Ladd McConkey. That falls within that 108 range. That can also be that Trey Benson. I mean, if Trey Benson goes to the Cowboys, he can definitely be a top 8 pick there for you. No question about it. So I like Jackson Smith and Jigba, but I think there's way too many hurdles that he has to go through at the moment with Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and I can get that 108 right now. I definitely can, and I definitely would. But once again, I understand that draft capital. You used the 104 last year for JSN, but I mean, if Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors wasn't on this team, in this draft class, where does Brian Thomas Jr. fall in this draft class? He's already top 4, so you get a top 4 wide receiver. in this class already if you could get the 108 if he does land to a favorable landing spot there. So that's something that I'm willing to do. I've also been a massive advocate of pivoting off of Waddle, but in this scenario, I don't believe there is a good pivot option. There is one name that I'm interested in that I know a lot of the community is kind of worried about, and that's Brandon Ayuk. I would rather have Brandon Ayuk over Jalen Waddle at the moment, but I know the community won't. And I know you would have to pay more for that. So unfortunately, I don't think that would be the best pivot because you're giving up some capital if you wanted to keep it. I think this is probably your best bet of keeping it here. Now, can I pivot? I think what I'm also willing to do here, since you're kind of in a smaller starting type of league here where you only start 3 wide receivers, is maybe I can package some of these, the 109 and the 110 for a heavy hitter potentially. Because if I can definitely do that for one of these top wide receivers, now it probably is not going to be like some people would, you know, I doubt you can get an Amon-Ra. I doubt you can get one of those high caliber guys. But if you can pivot to somebody along the lines of, I don't know, a Drake London, getting a Chris Olave, you know, I'm willing to do that in this scenario here because of, once again, it's a smaller starting lineup. So then you have Malik Neighbors, you'll have, let's say, Chris Olave and Jalen Waddle on this team rather than the 109, the 110, and a start 4 wide receivers. I think I'm willing to do something along those lines if I were you. Once again, you let me know how you feel since you're here with us in the chat. In the 110, it's going to be difficult because I don't think a lot of people would want that. But I mean, if there's a natural pivot, let's see. Let's see here. I think a lot of people would do that for Brandon Ayuk off the rip. Like, once again, this is a starting point. This is nothing signed, sealed, but that's definitely a starting point. Brandon Ayuk there. I don't think people are going to do that for Drake London anymore, to be honest with you. I'll do it for Chris Olave. Chris Olave, I would do that for. I'm not getting any of those guys. I don't want Devonta Smith at the moment. Jordan Addison's interesting. I think he's already valued as one of those picks there. That could be interesting. I mean, I'm thinking about Michael Pittman at the moment. I think he's actually valued around the 109, 108 range there. So let's do 109. Maybe what you can do is throw in that 210 and get a Michael Pittman. I'm happy to do something along those lines. That's kind of exciting. Once again, you want some proven vets since you have a smaller starting lineup here. This is perfect. DJ Moore, get this guy in the mix. Now 109, it's not 109 plus 110, but just 109 for DJ Moore. We would both love that trade. I think Zach would like that. I personally like DJ Moore. Now, if Rome Odunze goes there, that's definitely a different conversation. So you can definitely wait until after the NFL draft if you really wanted to solidify that. This is Justin Herbert guy, Christian Watson, Deontay Johnson. So I think those are some good values there that you could potentially take advantage of. Let's go back to these top teams here and double check. I don't think you can do it for Amon-Ra. I don't think you can do it for Garrett Wilson. I would also say the 110 or the 109. Let's see, 109 or 110 for T. Higgins. That's interesting. I think one of my big bold takes, guys, is, and maybe it's not even big and bold, right? Because we know these guys. I know T. Higgins asked for a trade. Brandon Ayuk has been talking all this shit. I guess not a hot take anymore, but I'll say a hot take. One of those guys getting traded at the NFL draft. And that's going to be exciting to see where they go. I said this to Zach once. Imagine we get a quarterback in the top 6, and people are saying, well, we hate that for the New York Giants and for that quarterback that's going to go into weapons with Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt. But what if we trade for Brandon Ayuk? What if we trade for T. Higgins? That would be dream case scenario there. Do I think that's going to happen? Absolutely not. Not to the Giants specifically, but to another team, I think one of those guys are going to go to. I think this is great. I think this is some good pivots here. Let me just change this to pivoting off of scenario 3, package 109 and 110. So JSN and JSN, of course. Let me put this in. Just want to make sure when you read this on your hotline that that you're on the same page and it's easy to understand. But Ryan says, yes, I'm inclined to stick and pick at the 101 and the 105. I have kind of been playing the 109, 110 by ear draft in July, thinking that I can see how draft plays out and the hype for certain plays increases 100%. And when those players increase, that's what gets exciting, right? I mean, in the second half of the off season in July, August, that's where you can kind of see some of these guys rise, right? Like in the second half of July, like that's where you saw Puka's going in the 4th rounds. That's where you saw Jaden Reed going in the early second rounds, right? That's where you saw Devon Achane going over. Like, you know, when we first started, I got Zay Flowers the week after the NFL draft at the 201 or the 202. By the time in July, he was going at the 109, 110. So that's the type of pivots that you can make, and those type of values that can definitely climb up each and every week and each and every month in the off season, which is exciting. So like doing the 109 and the 110 and waiting to see where those guys land, and if somebody rather have one of these other players, then sure. Like one of these rookie players, because you know if people start hearing these hypes and you know you hear all these rookie reports as well, especially out of training camp, like rookie mini camp, where they're saying, oh, you know, Adonai Mitchell is having great chemistry with Dak Prescott because Dak Prescott went to rookie camp to throw the ball to Adonai Mitchell. That gets hyped. That rises him up rankings. Even though CeeDee Lamb is there, that can push him up somehow, some way. So that is definitely a type of different things that you can definitely take advantage of here. But I do believe it is probably best case scenario to stick and pick at the 101, getting Caleb Williams and having Lamar Jackson, like you did mention. And then at the 105, in that Malik Neighbors, Brock Bowers, and getting another quarterback here type of scenario. We're not hesitant of taking Malik Neighbors over these quarterbacks. Now, you do need a third quarterback, which I always say is pretty important. You have Jacoby Brissett, Kenny Pickett, Hendon Hooker, and the list goes on here. If you wanted to, this is what I personally would like to do. I would personally draft in this build since you're trying to compete, because you have Tyler Huntley, which is really good, this is great. What you can do is draft Caleb at the 101, and at the 105, you go Malik Neighbors if he does fall to you. And if he does fall to you, I'll be trying to prioritize that 210 to try and get a Geno Smith, to try and get a, insert, lower tier quarterback You know, to try and get a Gardner Minshew if he's going to be the starter, to try and get a Russell Wilson. And you don't have to do the 210, but you can definitely do maybe that one of those 3rd round picks that you have here, right? The 301 for Russell Wilson or the 301 for something, just so you can have that depth. Because if Lamar Jackson does go down and Tyler Huntley does go down like we've seen in the past, and you don't have another starting quarterback, that will be really frustrating. Picking up the backup quarterback for the Bears right now will be also pretty important for you, because if Caleb Williams does miss some time, you just want to be prepared here. But this is a great team. I think you're ready to compete. Once you get Caleb and these pieces, your team is going to be set. And let's kind of talk that up here. Caleb Williams at the 101, right? Best case scenario. Malik Neighbors at the 105 here. Best case scenario. Let's say you get a Lad McConkey at the 110 here, and you still get some draft capital. Ooh. Let's just say you're going to stick and pick the whole time, right? And let's just say Adonai Mitchell at the 109 here. Oh, I did the wrong one. Adonai Mitchell here at the 109. So you have Caleb Williams, Lamar Jackson, Malik Neighbors, Jalen Waddle, Jackson Smith and Jigba with Tank Dell as your starters, or Adonai Mitchell and Lad McConkey here with Jalen Waddle, Jackson Smith and Jigba. But once again, you kind of want to consolidate some of these picks and try and get a 2-for-1 type of deal, getting a Michael Pittman for one of those picks, because now you know you have, like, every single day of the week, you already know you're going to start Michael Pittman over Jackson Smith and Jigba, or Michael Pittman over George Pickens. You want to consolidate some of these picks because you're going to have Malik Neighbors, hypothetically a Michael Pittman, and a Jalen Waddle there in some of those stick and pick scenarios. I love this trade personally for Michael Pittman. I also love the DJ Moore trade, the 109 for DJ Moore, if you can do DJ Moore. And let's look at the DJ Moore owner, which I think we kind of looked through. He kind of needs some draft capital. So yeah, if he wants to get that draft capital and get into this one, especially if he's worried about the Bears drafting a wide receiver, that is great. Let me know if you have any other questions, Ryan. I think this is pretty good. I mean, we can talk about pivoting off the 101 a little bit more, but I think you're kind of saying you're inclined to stick and pick at the 101 here. Use your fancy hotline if you want. I think what's really special about our channel is that you get 2 opinions. And Zach's not here, which is fine because he's not feeling well. But I think that's what's really great. So getting 2 different opinions and kind of bouncing off of that, because I know Zach would definitely have a completely different approach than what I would do, or maybe we'll be on the same page. But let me know if you have any other questions, Ryan. I can send this to your fancy hotline here. But we appreciate all the support, man. Thank you so much. You've been awesome. And like you said, you are in the Alpha League. Send me a trade. I'm looking for a quarterback. You want to do a trade right now live, Ryan? I think I sent you a trade. Hold on. Let me look this up. I need a quarterback. You want to get into that first round? Are you trying to rebuild, or what are you trying to do? I got the 106. Chef said he can't wait to get into the league with us. Hey man, we got you on the waiting list, I'm pretty sure. Said I got you in right, we got you in that waiting list. Ryan says I need a quarterback in alpha as well. Yeah, I'm looking at your team right now. I'm looking at your team: Jalen Hurts, CMC, Gibson, or Jalen Hurts, CMC, Taylor, Amon-Ra, Chris Godwin. Yeah, that's going to be difficult for you to get a quarterback. I don't have a 24 first trying to compete again. Yeah, man. I have the 106, so I think I'm gonna get a quarterback here at the 106. I need a quarterback because if Daniel Jones doesn't start, I have a great team in this league. I just need my QB too, and I'm ready to compete here. But hey, we appreciate you, Ryan. Thank you so much. Once again, let me know if you have any last minute questions as I'll send you this information here on the fantasy hotline. Ryan, here we go. Let's just stick and pick. Scenario 2. This is scenario 3 technically. It's not different scenarios, but just trade options, I guess. Okay. Those are all there for you as we probably go into the last team grade of the night. Going through 3 here. Let me just mark you guys off as well as I am doing this, which I haven't done as of yet. I bet you if I check it, Zach's done it. No, he hasn't done it yet. So Rolling Stones we've done. Rob have we done? Rob. jsnicks? No, we didn't do Rob. Did I skip Rob or am I tripping? Let me just double check. No, I didn't see. We didn't do Rob's here, so let me take Rob's out. I'm tripping right now. How can I remove that? I can't remove. I don't know if I can remove that there. Let me just send myself a reminder. Remove Rob's. Set myself a reminder there because I don't want to skip his team. Okay. All right. Ryan says, thank you. Thoughts and advice, another team. I'll see what Zach thinks in the hotline. Okay, awesome. Anthony, man, we appreciate you. I love the try. I love the ambition. But it just be unfair to all the other people that have donated. So the odds are 0, unfortunately. But thank you so much, man. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you just being here. Honestly, last guy of all good, brother. All good. Andy Castle is going to be the last guy for the night. Andy, if you're here, Andy Castle. Love the name. Kind of sounds like a guy off of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't know why. That's the first thing that came to mind. Andy Castle. Ooh, my throat. All right, Andy. Let's do what we do. Let's do our best. He says format 12 team, 1 quarterback, start 10, half PPR, no tight end premium, new to flock. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. And he says home league team was very RB heavy, and I had to sell to prepare for the future. After a bunch of trades, currently have the 103, 105, 203. The list goes on for this year. No idea what I should be looking to do next. Should I sell the 105 and the 203 to move up to the 102? Should I be looking to acquire running backs after our draft neighbors or Doomsday with the 103? Okay, so this is a 1 quarterback, start 10. Let's put this in the chat and kind of break this down before I forget. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end. So what's that? 4, 6. Is that 4? Is that 4 flex spots? It's probably not 4 flex specifically, but like built in that way. Was that 4, 6, 8, 9, 10? Okay. I'm assuming it will be like 3 wide receivers and 3 flex. All right, let's break this down one more time. So 1, 3, 6, 9, 10. I'm assuming it's broken down like that for good old Andy Castle. And let's get his sleeper ID, the Bulla Boys. Bulla, 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 Bulla. If you guys ever gone to Fiji, that's all they say. You woke up, Bulla, Bulla. Fiji's amazing. You guys should go, by the way. All right, 10 team. Let's break it down, baby. Let's break it down. The Bullet Boys. Remember, it's one quarterback. If I'm not mistaken, it's not a tight end premium. He said no tight end premium. Okay. Joe Burr, Jordan Love. Let's look at this. It's like a fairly even league for the top half of these guys. Joe Burrow, Jordan Love. You're set at the quarterback position. You have 2 quarterbacks just in case one goes down. You don't have to do anything there. Kenneth Walker, Chris Rodriguez. I can understand why you're looking at another running back there. So that's definitely important. You can start up to 6 wide receivers, if I am not mistaken, in this league here. Andy Cash, let me know if you are in the chat. If not, it's okay. I kind of broke it down. Wide receivers are Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. And that's only the 3 wide receivers we're excited to start this year, really, right? In reality, you can only start the 2 guys we're excited to start is Jamar Chase and Garrett Wilson. Because Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be, I would say, a week-to-week type of basis. So that's going to be a very interesting thought process there. And then tight ends are Pat Frymuth and Tucker Kraft here. All right, let's get this whiteboard going here. Overall, this team is interesting. I think you have some capital. I think you have an interesting way you could potentially compete. Monra, Zay, Godwin, Josh Nelson. He doesn't have crazy capital. He does have Bijan and Brees, though, which is definitely the difference maker with Dalton Kincaid. Okay. So let's break this down, huh? Oh. So you do have your 25 first and your 26 first, which is great. You have 2 26 first, which is great. You have your 25 second. You have 2 26 seconds. 25 and a 6. Okay. So everyone today has had essentially all their draft capital, which has been great for us. Great for you guys here. And stick and pick scenario at the 103 in a 1 quarterback scenario here is definitely Rome Odunze, because you expect Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors to be off the board. I would also even say, even though it's not a tight end premium, but Brock Bowers is definitely in play here. I would also say Brock Bowers would be in play in the 105. I would say Brian Thomas Jr. is in play there at the 105. He also mentioned of trying to trade up the 105, trade the 105 and the 203 to get the 102. Now, if you can do that, should I tell the 105 and the 203 to move up to the 102? Now, the 203 range in a 1 quarterback league definitely changes things because, right, you think of that really pushes up some of these other guys. That pushes up Trey Benson to like the 107, 106 potentially, depending on where he lands. That pushes up the Xavier Worthies, the Adonai Mitchell. So some of these guys aren't going to fall to you there. So it's really those quarterbacks that can fall to you, and or the 203. I think it's more of. Let me just double check here. Some of these other running backs are going to be in play at the 203 now. Blake Corm is going to be in play depending on the landing spot here, which I know you're kind of concerned about getting another running back. Marshawn Lloyd is also in play here. Depending on, once again, all this is depending on landing spot. Jalen Wright. And then these wide receivers, I would also say, are in play. Ricky Pearsall, Roman Wilson, and honestly, any best player available there at the 208 is BPA, right? So it just really depends on how you want to go here. Now, you did kind of mention that you wanted to trade. You did kind of mention that you potentially wanted to trade that 105 for the 203. Now, I wouldn't mind that. Let me just double check this. Start up to 6 wide receivers. This is probably why I'm a little bit concerned here. Because if you can start 6 wide receivers, and the reason why we can say you can start 6 wide receivers is because Zach and I love to have the advantages of the wide receivers in our flex position. The more wide receivers, we know wide receivers score higher points per game normally over the running backs, unless you have some of those top 10 guys. But if you have these guys that are in the top 24, those ranges kind of fluctuates, and where those guys can have spike weeks, which is exciting here. So sending that 203 in this scenario could be somebody that could be in the top 24. Now that's a huge projection. But at the same time, that 203 is somebody could be a running back for you here, Andy. So and I think this makes it a bit difficult. So at the 103, you're definitely getting Rome Odunze. No question about it. At the 105, I'm happy with either Brock Bowers or Brian Thomas Jr. because either way, you need a tight end. So if it's Brock Bowers there, great. If it's Brian Thomas Jr., great. I'm willing to do one of those. I do have currently, at the moment, before the landing spot, I do have Brock Bowers over Brian Thomas Jr. if he was available at the 105 in my personal rankings. Zach has him. I'll tell you what Zach has him at. Am I looking? I don't know if these are updated, but I'm looking at what we did at the what we did in our rookie report. Zach actually has Brian Thomas Jr. at the 104 in a 1 quarterback. Now, once again, that may be a little bit outdated because I don't have his rankings, but just keep that in mind. We would have it flipped at the 105 there. I'm just thinking of a couple different ways that we could maneuver here. I do have one way that I think we can. No idea what I should be doing next. Should I sell the 105 and the 203 to move up to the 102? Should I be looking to acquire running backs after Neighbors or Dunze with the 103? I would not be taking a running back at the 103. You're just pushing up that value for no reason. Like if Benson goes to a terrible landing spot, you're still going to take Benson there? Probably not. Right? So I think you have to be mindful of that when you are doing something like this. I would say this. There are a couple ways you could potentially pivot. And the first thing that comes to mind is someone like a Jamar Chase. I want 2-for-1s for Jamar Chase here. Since you can start 6 wide receivers, that's what makes it intriguing. Now, I'm trying to find the perfect scenario here. DJ Moore in the 101. I don't think that's not a natural pivot. Drake London in the 106. I just don't think that's enough. What about AJ Brown in the 106 though? And a 1 quarterback. And a 1 QB. And a 1 QB, say? Jamar Chase, huh? Just looking at my rankings here. This is... Oh. What happened there? This is where Zach and I would always see differently here, because I would be wanting to tier down to do a 2-for-1. But I know Zach would always say he wants to stay in that top 5 range at the wide receiver position, where I just don't think you can get a 2-for-1 type of deal in that. And since you are a competing team, I don't want to get future. I mean, you can get future draft capital. I think that's great. But the running back room is also very interesting. I'm trying to find 2-for-1 deals at the running back room. Is this crazy to ask for? The problem is you could be getting a Dunze there, which can make this a little bit difficult here. I have a scenario which I don't think you're gonna like, but this is why we'd love to have both of us on when we do this. So I do have a pivot option for you. And this is, like I said, where Zach and I normally see differently, trying to stay within that top tier. But I think this can actually help you compete and move in the right direction. Pivoting off Chase. And now, I want 2-for-1s. Two for ones. Or you can do 3-for-1s with some capital, or 2-for-2, depending on how you feel and what that looks like for you. The first one that comes to mind is getting a DJ Moore and a Travis Etienne here. Now, once again, I know a lot of people wouldn't like this. And if you don't like this, that's fine. And if you don't think this is enough, that's fine. Let's ask for more. Chase plus DJ Moore plus Etienne. Now, that is probably the last scenario I would offer. I would say you should do, because I know a lot of people won't like that. So I'm going to try and rock with the community here. What about Trace and the 101 plus? This is the interesting part. Like, can I get plus for the 101 there? And the reason why I'm thinking this player, so I can get Chase, DJ Moore, Jamar Chase for the 101 and DJ Moore, and I send the 208s. And the reason why I'm thinking this is because you still get a wide receiver in Martin Harrison Jr., who a lot of people are going to have Jamar Chase higher. But Martin Harrison Jr. right now in the community, like, Jamar Chase is wide receiver 1, right? But can I get the 101? I'm trying to do 2-for-1s because of how many wide receivers you could potentially start. And once again, you can potentially get more. What does that more look like for you? Is that the Travis Etienne? Is that you don't want J.K. Dobbins in this league? That's why I'm trying to find natural pivots, which makes this very difficult. T. Higgins is too low for me. DeAndre Hopkins, no. No, I'm not doing any of those wide receivers. I'm not doing these wide receivers. I'm not doing T. Higgins, St. Dell. You can do A.J. Brown, Drake London. Let's try this. I have another scenario here, because I'm trying to get you running backs, because you can compete. Derrick Henry plus, let's close that out. Derrick Henry plus London, I would say, plus the 106, and I'm happy to give you the 203 for that. Chase plus the 203 for Henry, London, and the 106. So you get a wide receiver. At the 106, you still have the opportunity to either get another, like a Lam McConkey. You're happy to get a Troy Franklin and Adonai Mitchell to expand your depth on this team. Once again, you don't have enough wide receivers for us to be comfortable to, not to compete, but just to be comfortable to start. You only have 2 wide receivers. That's Garrett Wilson. So in this scenario, in this world that we're painting, you have Garrett Wilson, you have you have Rome Odunze, you have Drake London, and then you get another wide receiver. Let's just say that's an Adonai Mitchell at the 106. That's 4 wide receivers you can start, with still the potential to draft another one with the 203. Sorry, you can't do it with the 203 because you send away the 203. With the, I guess, the 208. So you may not be able to solve this problem this year, but that is something you can do. Or what you can do, that's still the same scenario. At the 103, you get Rome Odunze. At the 105, you get Brock Bowers. You get Derrick Henry, who you need another running back, and you have Kenneth Walker. You get Drake London, and you get the 106, who once again can be an Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, or Troy Franklin, Alain McConkey. The list goes on. I kind of like this move. This is probably my favorite move here. The chase, the 201 for Derrick Henry, London, and the 106. Some people may not like that because some people may not think it's enough. But if you still don't think that's enough, and that guy's willing to pay more, what more can you get? Right? Question that. Question that to that owner. Like, look, I'm giving you a lot right now. I'm giving you Chase, the #1 dynasty wide receiver, according to the community, because of the quarterback play. So that is something that I'm willing to explore at the moment. Garrett Wilson, I'm keeping. How are these quarterbacks looking for some of these guys here? Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, Bryce Young, Jared Goff. This guy needs a quarterback. He has the 102. This guy is not going to take. Can you get somebody from him? Is this crazy right now? Is this a crazy move? Hold on. Hold on. Hold your horses here. Hold your horses. I have another pivot option. You can sell one of these quarterbacks. Jordan Love. For Devon. And the one quarterback, Jordan Love, is not as valuable. Now, my biggest concern here would be you not having another quarterback in play, especially for someone like a Joe Burrow. That's probably going to be my biggest concern in this scenario. I'm just thinking if you could potentially add somebody on your team to kind of counterbalance that, and then get a Justin Fields in return. Like, I actually don't think you can. Like, can I send Justin Fields and, like, Bateman is not going to be anything. Well, I guess, right? Like, Justin Fields is not a starter. Plus Fields. Jordan Love, Bateman, plus Devon and Fields. Or you can do... That's just a difficult move. Because I don't think that guy would do that. But once again, it opens up the door to have some conversations. Because the rest of your league are pretty set on the quarterback position. And if he goes wide receiver or quarterback at the 102, that means you're getting Malik Neighbors. That's what that means. And that's an absolute lock in Malik Neighbors at the 103. So definitely try and understand where he is going at the 102. I'm sorry, you don't have the 103. You do have the 103. Am I tripping? Yeah, that means you're getting Malik Neighbors at the 103, which then makes your team even better. So trying to figure out where he's going to go there at that pick. And if you give him that quarterback, that may not give you Malik Neighbors personally. In my opinion, this is probably some of the best. This is the best team that you have so far. And I like those pivot moves. I would say this. I said this at the 203, getting one of those best ones available. Let's try and find some more pivot options for Chase to get a running back and a wide receiver in return here. This is interesting. Puka. I'm not sure if he would like this trade, but I like this trade. How about Jamar Chase for Puka and Monty. I like Monty. We saw what he did last year and how he can definitely do it. And this is kind of the same thought process that Zach was thinking, right? Like Zach wants to stay within that top tier, that top 10 type wide receiver. So this puts you within that top 10 wide receiver where you're only cheering down a couple players and you're getting a running back to help you in that. So you're still competing in this scenario with Puka Nacua here. Another thing you can do is maybe trade if some of these running backs aren't available. Either is 203 for a veteran, for vet RB, for like, once again, that could be a Derrick Henry. I like the 203 for Derrick Henry. I always say this, I like Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon is going to have a phenomenal year. Even though I know they're going to draft another running back, I still like Joe Mixon in that backfield and what he could potentially be doing for a team. Let's see. I don't want White. I don't think White is going to be available there for you in a league like this, unfortunately. Cook is not. Alvin Kamara is a good one. Now, I think you can do that more for the 208, but I'm honestly happy with either the 208 or the 203. Now you start with the 208 and then work your way. You work your way up. You know, can I send you the 208 plus a 403 to get that done? I'm happy to do that because you can solidify your running backs in different ways rather than trying to pivot off of some of these guys. But the best case scenario to put yourself in a winning position is, I personally think this one, Chase, or this, the Puka and Monty. That's a really nice one as well. Doing 2-for-1s. Let's see. Trade for RBs. Oh wait, sorry. That is right, because that is trading for a running back. For Devon and Fields. Let's see what else we can do here. Which I really like those moves so far, which can definitely put you into a situation. And look, some people would even say do it for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow will probably get you more capital. But you're really limited to one team. But like Joe Burrow can get you that 102 if you really like. Let's see. Joe Burrow for that 102. I think the 102 would technically be more valuable in a one quarterback, which is okay because what can we get in return? Oh, I doubt this. I doubt this is possible. Well, no, you would have to give up more. Excuse me. I was thinking about like 102 not being enough, but you actually would have to give up more than to get the 102, unfortunately. And there's nobody here that I want to give up. Unless I can do like the 203. I'm willing to do that. For the 102, I'm willing to do that. So let's do Jordan. Let's do Joe Burrow Joe Burrow plus 203 for the 102. Once again, and one quarterback, it's going to be more difficult to do this. But if you could do Joe Burrow plus the 203 to get the 102, that changes everything. Malik Neighbors, now you have Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, and Jamar Chase if you don't trade away Chase, right? Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. The problem is you still have to start 6 wide receivers, but you have the 105, which I didn't include. So once again, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, you get Malik Neighbors, you get Rome Odunze, you could potentially get Brian Thomas Jr., and then you could rock with Jackson Smith and Jigba as your 6th wide receiver here. So this is also a very favorable trade option. I think this might be my favorite. And now that I'm looking at it without pivoting off of Jamar Chase. Let's do best options here. So I think without pivoting off of Jamar Chase, you pivot off of Joe Burrow, you get the 102. I think best options, I would say 208 or 203. Best options for you, and then to get another running back if you really wanted to, which you were concerned about. So you still have a quarterback. You have the 102, which definitely changes your tone. Now the next problem is tight end, which we like Pat Freiermuth because things can change with Pat Freiermuth, with Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, especially with them trading away Deontay Johnson. So it's not a terrible landing spot there. But one of the things I keep saying is some of these tight ends are going to be undervalued. And unfortunately, you don't have a 3rd round pick. And I think that's a sweet spot for some of these 3rd round picks when it comes down to the tight end position. But I think these are some great opportunities. And I think the best case scenario is to rock with someone like a Pat Freiermuth here. So I think these are the best options in my personal opinion, which gives you the best return coming in. Let me just put Derrick Henry in that best options as well, because that can really change your team there. And sticking with Jamar Chase if you really wanted to, because once again, I think you can't compete. You just need to make sure you maneuver the right way, and you don't give up any 25 capital. I don't think I want to do that. I want to keep it. And you have Kenneth Walker. So in this perfect world, you have Jordan Love as your quarterback. You have Kenneth Walker and Derrick Henry. You have Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson. And then at the 102, if you do make that trade once again, you have Malik Neighbors. At the 103, you have Rome Odunze. At the 105, you have a Brian Thomas Jr. And those are your 5 starting wide receivers, with Jackson Smith and Jigba being your 6th, and then Pat Freiermuth. Or you can change that 105 to be Brock Bowers, and then Jackson Smith and Jigba is your 5th wide receiver, and then you're kind of going back and forth at who's going to be a fill-in, or maybe you're struggling at that position there. Or you can start both of your tight ends, at Pat Freiermuth and Brock Bowers, and maybe they're both having a good year there. Andy, I know you're not in the chat, but we appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. Use your fantasy hotline if you have any more questions there. I am going to send this to you, Andy Castle. Andy Castle, that mother flocker. We appreciate you guys. Before I let you go, just want to talk to you guys for a little seconds. 2 things I want to say. If you guys want your team reviewed by us like you've seen today, all you have to do is go and sign up to the mother flocker, go to the Flock Fantasy website. How about I bring it up so it'll be easier for me to say? Go to the Flock Fantasy website, use their promo code LAN, select the mother flocker tier, and then link your account with us. And that's exactly how you can do it. Then go to the roster submissions, right? Where you can submit your roster here. As you can see, a lot of these people have done. We have Obi-Wan, who's new. Zach's over here saying, check your DMs. Johnny Now Bravo is over here talking with Zach. So we have so many guys that are still awaiting for some of these team reviews here. Let me just do this before I forget. I did Ryan's as well. Okay. So once again, guys, go to the Flock Fantasy website. Use the Mother Flock, or use the promo code LAND. Go to the Mother Flocker tier, and that's exactly how you can sign up using this promo code. We appreciate each and every one of you. I think that is it for today. We will be live tomorrow doing a rookie mock draft. We did have a video come out said worst and best, the best and worst landing spots for the fantasy players that we did release today, which so far has been getting great traction. A lot of good conversations have been coming out of that. We do have another video. Zach has a video coming out tomorrow as well. Your guys's tomorrow night for you guys, which is also exciting. We'll be live once again doing a rookie mock draft, and this only a couple of days until the NFL draft. But once again, appreciate each and every one of you. As always, it's all love. See you tomorrow.